Big Albert McLean. I've always heard about Albert and never met Albert in person. Thank you, Albert. Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Thanks for coming in. First time I saw you, didn't get to talk to you. Going back to a long time ago, back when you were in middle school, I was over at Northwest Guilford one day watching a middle school game between Northwest and Ferndale, and number 45 was down there on the sideline. They called him, myself and Greg Johnson. Remember Greg probably? Remember his son Will? Remember Will Johnson, Justin Johnson, those guys over at Central back in the day?
Yeah.
Anyway, we were over there watching that Northwest Guilford game, and there was big number 45 down the field, Big A, they called him even back then. Come a long way though since then, right?
Yeah, that was back when I was playing running back.
You were running back then. That's exactly right. And I think the thing was you wanted to play a lot of defense too. That's maybe how you ended up at Dudley eventually. You wanted to play that maybe defense, get more ball than the defense side of the ball.
Oh yeah, I love defense.
What about Coach Angel? Did you learn a lot from Coach Angel? He seemed like he was a good coach back at Ferndale.
Yeah, he was. He was a pretty good coach.
How has it been at Dudley, the transition going in there? Coming from High Point toward Greensboro to get with these Panthers?
It was easy. I like playing hard football. I like winning.
How has the winning been this year for you? No losses as of yet. You got a big game tomorrow night coming up too against Southeast Guilford. Do you have to get a little tight on these guys, get a little tough on these guys, make sure you keep those wins coming?
Oh yeah, we just got to play Dudley defense. Play Dudley football, we'll come out with a win.
Ask your teammates about it. How do you define or explain Dudley football? What is Dudley football?
Playing hard.
And winning at the same time, right?
Yeah, and winning. Knowing our assignments and when to do them.
Are you seeing some things in Southeast Guilford? Do you think you guys can handle? What do you see from this Falcon team you're playing tomorrow night?
Well, they like to run the ball. They like to wedge, so they can get their little running back right behind the linemen. But if we come off the ball fast and hard, we can win.
Who's the toughest player you've gone up against maybe this year from the other teams? Is that a particular player, particular team? Or do you kind of define it like your teammate did? Would it be your Dudley teammates the toughest?
Well, yeah, I give it to my Dudley offense because, I don't feel like nobody's hard I go up against. I just play football.
How about those Dudley offensive linemen? You got a couple of guys you can give a shout out to there. We don't hear much about those guys at all, that Dudley offensive line.
Shout out to Isaiah Thomas. He plays center.
So Isaiah Thomas will be the man you get that plus to.
Yeah, he's a little man, but he got a big heart and he played.
You look at that Dudley defense, you guys lost Mr. Nazia Fuel. When he went down, Randall Diaby comes in to take his spot. Did you lose any beats when he came on board, or has he been right there with you?
He's been hanging in there pretty good, getting off the ball fast, making plays, stopping plays.
What about Albert McLean down the road? We saw you back at middle school at Ferndale, number 45, playing for the Ferndale team of Coach Angel. Then we see you a few years later on over at Dudley. You've had a lot of success there. Not sure if you played varsity as a freshman. Did you play as a freshman on varsity?
Yes, sir.
And you played varsity now 4 years. What do you got in mind for the future after high school is complete?
Going to play college ball at a college.
Who do you think you might end up playing for? Any idea?
I'm not sure right now. I'm going to take a few visits.
How weight-wise, Albert, you check in, what, about 250, 260?
Well, I'm 280, solid 280 right now.
280, not bad at all. We did some arm wrestling with the guys here last year. You used to have the arm wrestling challenge. We thought we'd reserve that, kind of leave that aside for you here tonight, kind of let that go, because don't want to get you injured before the game tomorrow night. We'll make sure you're 100% for Southeast Guilford. But Albert, do you do any other sports besides football? Is it all football for you?
All football.
Talk about your off-season training program. What do you do then? Do they have to come wake Albert up, give him a call on the phone, make sure you get over to Dudley, get that extra work in? Or talk about your off-season. What do you do during off-season workout-wise?
Well, go to the school and work out, run, so we can be in shape all year.
What do they got you doing in the weight room? I mean, you may be one of the top guys on Dudley's team as far as workouts go in the weight room. What do they got you doing in there?
Everything. I max out at 395 on the bench.
Yeah, 395. Okay, not bad at all. What else?
I squat over 500 pounds. I can clean a good 250. I can decline like 300 pounds.
How about your 40 time? What do you come in at there?
I ran a fly flat at the Shrine Bowl.
280, not too bad. 280 doing 5 flat, not bad at all. Have you seen a lot of improvement in your game since even just your senior year alone? A lot of improvement here?
Yeah.
How have you gotten better? Because you're pretty good last year.
Just keep working. As you come in as a freshman, you're going against people who's older than you that's in 11th, 12th grade. So they fighting, you fighting back. You come in 10th grade, you starting. You just got to play. You know?
Who's the inspiration? Who got you involved in football as a kid, younger kid? Who's been the inspiration for you?
I always played since I was younger, you know.
Parents get you started, brothers, sisters, who?
Yeah, me and my brother, we always played rec ball, you know. And They always told me I was going to be a good football player, so I stuck to it and kept playing.
280. How tall are you, Albert?
6 foot.
6 foot even. Do you think you might end up in the middle, maybe or maybe you do some in the middle right now, head up over center, maybe do a lot of defensive line work? You see yourself maybe head up, maybe in college, maybe the nose guard, going that route?
Yeah, I see myself playing nose guard in college.
With 6 feet height and that 285 weight, you might you could go 300. Who knows?
Yeah.
It seemed like it'd be a pretty good stopper right there in the middle for you.
Yes, sir.
Who are the colleges? Anybody knocking on the door yet? Or you having to contact them? Or just going to wait and see on that a little bit?
Well, yeah, I have North Carolina Central, Western State. They talking to me.
Have you been in any college games?
Western Carolina.
Western Carolina's pretty good. Southern Conference, yeah. What about that Winston-Salem State? Is that kind of alluring for you? Maybe go over there?
Yeah, I would.
How about have you seen any of their games this year?
Yeah, I seen them play on ESPN.
Just TV-wise, not in person yet?
No.
Do you remember those guys I mentioned earlier, the Justin Johnson and Will Johnson, those guys back in the day?
No.
Nah, it's been a while now, I'm sure, going back to the days at Ferndale. What about from Dudley? Who's been the best teacher for you at Dudley?
I say my English teacher, Miss Minor.
What have you learned in that class?
The work. Just do your work.
Keeps the nose to the grindstone, huh?
Yeah.
Pushing pretty hard. The grades going good for you? All this falling in place?
Yes, sir. She gonna push me and make sure I get my work done, make sure I come out with nothing but an A.
How about as far as Coach Stephen Davis? He's been your coach now for 4 years. What do you learn from Coach Davis?
Becoming a man and playing hard.
What do you think you've learned from your position coach? Who's your position coach over there?
We have Coach Lambert this year.
Coach Lambert? Okay.
Yes, sir.
What has he taught you?
Firing off the ball, staying healthy, use your hands, technique.
Looking at your game from last year, maybe to this year, how have you improved your game? You think gotten better? Because I know you've seen me put up better numbers this year, and you hear your name a lot more called out. People are talking about Big A, Albert McLean. What is it, number 58? What number now? 50? Number 50. Used to be 45, now 50. What do you think you've improved in the most in the past year?
Well, I'm coming off the ball. I feel like it's still the same. I'm just making more plays.
Getting more involved. Big stops for Albert McLean. What about Albert? And you talk about the NFL. Got a favorite NFL team you keep up with?
Carolina Panthers.
Any favorite players there?
I like John Beeson, but I don't think he's there no more. He went to the New York Giants.
He did. He got caught up in that trade. That's right.
I like Cam Newton. Greg Harden.
I knew it. I knew you'd mention him. I like that guy too. Greg Hardy's an interesting guy. I mean, he doesn't get as much maybe pub sometimes as some of the other guys do. Charles Johnson gets quite a bit of pub on a defensive line, but Greg Hardy, very good ball player.
Yeah, he is.
He's got an interesting side to him too. Saw a feature on him last week on that Panthers TV show on Saturday nights. A lot of intellectual side to Greg Hardy too. You look at the Panthers, you look at Cam Newton, you look at college football. Who's your favorite college team?
Tar Heels.
Tar Heel man. And
Tar Heel fan.
How about Eric Ebron? Impressed what Eric's done since he went down there?
Oh, yeah.
You guys may have seen each other. Had to go back a few years. You might have went up against him maybe your freshman year.
Yeah, when I was a freshman, he was at Smith.
Pretty tough guy back in the day then.
Yeah, still is.
Still is, exactly right. You probably saw TJ Logan a time or two also when you guys were playing Northern Guilford back in the day.
Yes, I seen y'all played against him.
What about Carolina? You like what they're doing this year?
They could be better. They got the pieces to be better, but they playing.
Do you watch some football on Saturday afternoons? Keep up with that a little bit?
Yeah.
And Sunday, you probably tune in, check out the Panthers, guys like that?
Yeah, I think we play at 4 o'clock this Sunday.
That's right, San Francisco 49ers, and then they got the Patriots coming up next week. Got the Patriots on Monday night.
Oh, yeah, we can do it.
You like Greg Hardy, Charles Johnson, those Panther players you mentioned. Could it even be out of the stretch of the imagination? Maybe David Amerson did it. Why couldn't Albert McLean do it one day? Maybe make it to the pros.
Oh, yeah, I think I can do it. One thing I got to do is work hard. Set my goals high and go and achieve it.
I think you got a good shot at it. If you don't get some postseason recognition, I think there's going to be a recount as far as the voting goes. You got a ton of your guys, and your team ought to be in line to get that All-Metro 4A All-Conference selection coming up here soon. I know you guys have.
Oh, yeah.
On defense alone, you got to look at your guy like yourself. You got to look at Chris Register. You got to look at Emmanuel Mosley, and somebody else might slide or get All-Conference. Who else on that defense might get All-Conference? Anybody else you think of?
Khalil Vance.
Oh, yeah, Khalil. This is one of his first years playing for you guys, too, I think. He's got a shot at it. Anybody
Randall.
else? Randall coming in late, yeah.
Trey Meadows.
Trey Meadows, defensive back, yeah?
Yeah.
Could almost be the entire Dudley defense. They're probably limited to about 7 guys, possibly. Albert McLean with us, Dudley Panthers, big game against Southeast. Again, to beat Southeast Guilford, what do you guys got to do again? What's the big deal?
Play hard, stop what they doing, and score.
Score enough points, get about 28 like you did against Page, you guys will win. What about to win the state championship? What do you guys got to do to get that?
Play hard and know what we doing. Go to practice hard. Know our assignments. Go in and keep playing.
Do you feel like Emmanuel did? I think he mentioned, Chris might have talked about it too a little bit. It'd be good to get that home field advantage.
Yeah, I'd love to have that. Have everybody travel us.
How do you like that Dudley Stadium since they rebuilt that? I mean, you got to feel good about your home facility now too. Good place to play football.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Final notes with Albert McLean, Dudley Panthers, Shane's Rib Shack for a Thursday night. Who do you think the best athlete is in Dudley history? We asked that question earlier.
As of right now, who already been through and came out?
Who's already been through and come out? Yeah.
David Emerson.
Emerson, without a doubt. Albert, you might be the man one day. You never know. You get to the pros, you gonna remember us when you get to the pros one day? You gonna forget about us too?
No, I ain't gonna forget about nobody.
I'm never gonna forget that number 45 over at Ferndale. I still remember that day at Northwest. It was a Monday afternoon. Ferndale playing against Northwest Middle School, and I think you were standing up. I think Coach Angel said you need to get in with the huddle, sit down. You used to have to kind of control you, kind of wide open even back then.
Yeah. When
the game time comes around, you kind of take that personality and maybe take it to another level, be a little wilder, a little crazier.
Yeah, I take it out on the people we playing.
You got to feel sorry for those guys tomorrow night, right?
Yeah.
Albert, good job, my man. Thank you for coming.
All right, nice meeting you.
Albert McLean with us, Shane's Rib Shack for a Thursday.